Hey guys, today I'm going to answer one of your questions from the comment section. Somebody asked me recently how to prepare vector graphics to sell on the stock sites on the marketplaces. Let's bite this from another end. Today I will share 5 things we should avoid while preparing our graphics for stocks websites. Actually, before I start this YouTube channel, that was my side hustle. I prepare some clip arts and icons and sell them off on those stock websites. So let me just share some universal things that we should avoid, because most of those websites, they got their own rules. Some of them are similar, but you should always check the certain marketplace rules. Alright, let's get started. Let's move to the first artboard. We want to avoid embedding any raster image into your vector clipart. This will be denied straight away, and it will be detected usually by the bot or AI. Not even a human reviewer will touch that file. I don't believe anybody will try to actually add a raster image into your clipart, but sometimes if you use a software don't fully understand, it may happen. So if you apply some layer styles in Affinity Designer or other programs, you got some like raster based styles sometimes. They look fine and they even scale up and down as the vector styles. But if you export this to like common formats like SVG or EPS, you may turn them into rasters because that certain format do not support this special effect. So be careful about that. If you got any like special effects, you should inspect that another file, this SVG file or EPS file you generated based on that, alright? This way you may create some raster elements by mistake, like shadows and stuff like that. So don't do that. It will be a decline straight away. Another thing we need to avoid is to use any kind of copyright materials, any logos and trend marks, stuff like that. We just cannot put it in. Sometimes the copyright thing can be actually the shape of something. And what happened to me once, I was doing something about medical stuff and I got this simple like red cross on the white backdrop, and it's turned out it's too similar to the actual red cross. So sometimes it may be surprising. You assume this is a common use symbol, but actually it's maybe a copyright thing. So never get angry on that kind of strike. We are learning this stuff, and it's really crazy sometimes what is actually a copyright right now. Okay, so be careful about copyright stuff. We cannot include that. We also cannot include any auto trace images. It shouldn't be a case for us, right? In Affinity Designer, there's no auto trace right now, but I know some of you guys use like third-party software to do that. We cannot use auto trace while preparing vector illustration for cell. You can tell straight away the structure, the layer structure of the file. You can see this auto trace straight away. And especially the software the big companies use to check those clip arts, they can tell it's auto trace. And there's also another aspect, even if they can look on that with like kind of somebody, but there's another aspect. If you auto trace something, you should also own the rights to the original file. Alright, so that may also be breaching the rights. So if you auto trace something, that's usually big no-no for most of those places that sell stock graphics. What's next? That's a big one. Open curves. Take a look on this shape. Seems fine. If I click on it, you can see that this curve is actually open curve. So every time they would check for it. This is a big no-no for them. Open shapes like that, because this will be sold to another designer, and this may cause a serious problems for those people. You cannot left like a space here, even though it seems like the shape is completed. The color is here because when we add the fill color to open curve, the last two nodes will be connected with a straight line. That's how it is. If we switch the fill to be a stroke color, take a look. There's no line in between here. So you always need to close your shapes, alright? We need nice close shapes, and this way they will accept your files. This is really serious. Don't leave any unopened curves if you're filling them with colors, alright? Avoid open curves. And the last thing is with question mark, because when I was doing a stock graphic, this was a big deal. We cannot use any transparency in the past. So if you got like two shapes, and one is semi-transparent, that was no straight away. And sometimes it's going to be even export as raster, so that's totally failure. Nowadays we got those semi-transparent vector objects. In addition, some programs may come with a transparency tool when they apply this special type of gradient to fade away object. In my times, that was big no-no. Nowadays, more and more places accept transparency. So you will need to check that with the marketplace you are interested in, alright? Because I know that transparency can boost workflow really nicely. We can finish stuff way faster. Because in the past, in order to get this like transparent or semi-transparent effect, what we need to do in the past was to set up a solid color. Let me just get rid of that transparency here. So you got the solid color, and then we got some kind of background color for that, right? And if you want to create a transparency, you actually use a regular gradient on it. So if you use the regular gradient and one of the end of the gradient is exactly same color as the background color, it will seem like transparent. Take a look. It seems like transparent, but actually it's a normal gradient inside. So that's how we avoid using transparency in the past. But as I mentioned, nowadays, many places accept transparency. So let's summarize. If you plan to sell your clip arts, your stock vector graphic on those marketplaces, check for transparency, alright? Check the rules about transparency. Avoid open curves. This will make your file rejected straight away. Don't try to use auto trace in your process. Be careful about copyright materials, trademarks, and sometimes even some certain shapes of electronic devices may be copyrighted, so careful about that. And be careful about special effects you apply, because some of them may be exported as raster layers, and this will cause your clip art to be rejected by those stock banks. Alright, so here are my 5 things to avoid if you plan to monetize your vector graphic by offering this on some kind of stock banks. Thank you for today, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!